Okay, I still have some more wires in here. I want to get through here and figure out what I got going. I can see this one wire here is not connected to anything. It's just sitting in here. So I think this was the power going to the old battery charger. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my chisel. I got one of these staples here that needs to come out. Oh, that was easy. And get this out of here. Okay. All right. So what I'm getting ready to do is put in some shelf rests. So I'm going to use this this 1x. It's made out of red oak, and I've had this for a long time, sitting outside when I was in the old marina, the other marina. So it's a little weathered, but plenty strong. And so this is what the shelves are going to sit on. So I'm going to have to cut these down and put them across. I have to decide exactly where I want the shelves. Looks like I should get in here and do some cleaning before I do anything. At least get these wires out of the way. Okay, so trying to figure out what we got here. Okay, this is the DC power supply for the refrigerator. So this will stay where it's at. Just have to move it out of the way. And then I have another one here. This is what's actually running the refrigerator right now. And it's plugged into my power strip up here in the galley. I need to get this refrigeration system wired back into my electrical panel here. Now I did have another cable. It was this one right here. It's got a plug. Do I have another plug over here? I might just be able to plug this in. Yes, I do. Let's see. And I think, what the hell is this? Boy, this don't look right. I don't like the looks of this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come back later and wire this in. I don't think I'm gonna do it now. I can do this later. So, I think at one point this was plugged in here, but this has got 3 wires. None of them are the right color. I think the white and the black should be right. The blue must be the ground, I think, but yeah, it looks like it's going to the grounding plate. But I don't understand why this white one is disconnected. And I have some tape on here. Let me see. I think there must be a connector that connects, but I think if this is long enough, I can run this across the top. Is it long enough? Oh, it's not. I don't think it's going to be long. No, it's not. I'm going to take this cable. I just unplugged my refrigerator. And this cable right here, it's got a plug on it. I had it plugged into my power strip. I'm going to cut this cord, and I think it's plenty long enough. Let me see if it's going to reach. So it'll go up above here, inside, across, inside, and down, and yes, it'll reach. It'll reach to this switch. This is the breaker for the refrigeration. So now, in the future, I'll be able to turn on and off my refrigerator from here. It'll also be on a breaker, though I do have a breaker on my power switch or power strip up here. So at any rate, plug my refrigerator back in. It's pretty hot today, and I want to keep my beer nice and cold for later tonight. And so I think the next thing is getting in here and cleaning. I need to pull those bolts out. So I got these bolts that we're holding. Let's see how hard it's going to be to pull those out. I think I can pull those right out. Yeah. So I need to go up in the cockpit and pull those out. I think I better pull them out because I don't want them falling down in the bilge. So, at any rate, I think I'll do that right now. I'll go up and pull those out. Let me kind of push them out with this here. Yeah, so I can get a hold of them. Yeah, they're gone. I should be able to reach up in there in the cockpit. I got storage up there, and I should be able to pull these out. So I need to go up there and pull those out right now. And I think I'm going to start cleaning inside here. Gee, I don't know what I'm going to use to clean. Just some organic soapy water.
Day.
Oh yeah, it's always something.
Your husband died. Well, we got upside down in the anchor locker.
That's okay. I got a halyard and a winch. I can just yank you right back out.
Hook it right around my feet.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's marlin.
Okay, got a little Dawn soap and water in here. So Dawn's good soap. It's not harmful to the environment, and people have been using Dawn soap for like backpacking trips and stuff, whitewater rafting trips. Just gonna take a bunch of paper towels and see what happens here. It looks to me like there's some diesel soot in here. I had my exhaust system was leaking right back here under this settee, right underneath my electrical panel. I had a really bad exhaust leak. Matter of fact, the pipe was totally sheared off in half, and so I had to fix that. That's a previous video I have on YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and see what happens here. I'm just going to get this paper towel wet and see what I get. And never mind, I spilled a bunch of water because it's a boat. It'll just go down in the bilge. Okay, and I have a bilge pump, so let's see what this looks like. How dirty this is. I don't want to drop my towels down in here. But yeah, just a few little wipes, and you can see on one little area how dirty. It's pretty dirty. The worst part is it doesn't look like it cleaned anything when I just wiped on this. Let's do this some more. Turn my water pump off. I have a leak in my water system. It's the hot water heater has a heat exchanger, so you can heat water from the engine while the engine runs, the cooling system. The antifreeze runs through a heat exchanger, and it'll heat up my water heater so I can have hot water for showers and stuff. That heat exchanger has a leak, and it's not hooked up to the engine. So when I turn on my water here, my pressurized water system, it intermittently kicks on and off because it's got a real slow leak. Something I'm going to have to fix. I may have to replace the whole water heater. I don't know if I can get in there and fix that. Probably not. This plywood, you can see the insulation. This is for the ice box here. I had to cut this plywood out because it had got a leak up here, and for years, it was actually before I even bought this boat. There was dry rot right here, so I just cut it out completely. And I probably should fill this in with something. But I think I can do that as an afterthought. After I get the shelves in, decide whether I like where things are. I may have a problem here. I don't know with the shelving. I'll figure it out. I'll make it work. But yeah, I should probably fill this back in with something, not leave it like this. I thought about cutting this all out. I have an oscillating tool. I can come in here. I was going to do it maybe today and just cut this whole thing out. It'd give me more storage in this cabinet going that direction, but inside here is where my compressor, my circuit board for the refrigeration is in here. And so I'm not going to do that. I decided against that. And then what I'm going to do, though, eventually is up here in the galley, right behind this fire extinguisher, I'm going to cut the bulkhead out. And so I'll have a shelf up here on the cabinet level that'll go back inside here. So I'll have storage back inside. So I'll have to lower my compressor and condenser down. They're a little bit high. I think they're up about that high. I'll need to get them down to about that level inside here so I can have a storage space up behind here. And that's going to give me a lot of room for more stuff. So I think between this cabinet and that cabinet, I'll have plenty of storage now in the galley. I'll probably put some cool LED lighting, different color lighting in here. So I can change the color and just kind of make it look cool when you open it up. I hate doing stuff where I can't see. Just got to do it by feel. There's a steel rod in here. It goes behind the mizzen mast. It's to keep the deck from buckling upward when you tighten the rigging on the mizzen mast. Sailboats have this, usually have this a rod that goes up right next to the mast. And what it does is when you put tension on the wire rigging that holds the masts up, it causes it'll cause the deck to kind of puff up where the mast is out. So that rod is bolted down, usually down towards the bottom of the boat, down on the keel, and that helps to keep the deck from buckling upward from the wire tension on the wire rod. Plus, when you're sailing, you got load on the cables, and that'll also pull the deck up. So I have one right here in my way, kinda reaching around it. The mizzen mast is right here too. I kind of got my arm around it. It's right behind the electrical panel. So it's keel stepped. So the masts on this boat go all the way through the deck and all the way to the bottom of the hull on the keel. And there's pros and cons to that. Some boats, my last boat was deck stepped. It was a tabernacle rig, so you could, it had a hinge on the mast, so you can literally lower the mast over, down, forward, and go under bridges. There's advantages to both. Keel stepped masts are stronger than a deck stepped mast, but if you're dismasted, when you get out in bad weather or whatever, and your boat gets knocked down, usually how they're dismasted is the boat gets knocked all the way over, and the sails fill up with water, and then the weight of the keel tries to right the boat back up, and because there's water in the sails, pow, it busts the masts off. That's a typical way of being dismasted. Other ways is just the rigging fails and it breaks, and that's very common. Actually, if it's deck stepped and you get dismasted, it's better because it doesn't damage your deck usually too bad. Where when you're keel stepped, it can tear a big hole. It can literally rip most of your deck completely off your boat. But keel step masts are stronger than deck step. So most offshore boats are keel stepped. It's another thing about boats. just cleaning them is not easy. Like I said, nothing's easy on a boat. And you think it's such a small space, it'd be real easy to keep clean, and it's not. It is not easy to keep clean. Everything's so cramped and hard to get to. You have to be kind of a contortionist to deal with it. My other boat, I installed a diesel engine in it, a Lehman 60 horsepower diesel, and there was parts missing off the engine. There's a alternator mount missing, and I wasn't going to be able to find one. I didn't even bother trying to find one because I knew I probably wouldn't be able to find one for that motor. The bolts were offset. They weren't like if they were square, it would have been easy. And so I had to, the engine was already sitting in the boat when I bought it. It was just sitting on wooden blocks. The guy gave up on it because he couldn't figure out how to hook it to the hull. The engine's 500 pounds. And so I worked on a research farm and had welding equipment. So I built the engine bed and bolted it to the boat, to the hull. And then realized the alternator, didn't have an alternator on it. I needed to make a mount for it out of steel. And so I crawled down in this little cubby hole, and I was so cramped in there, and had to make, I couldn't just go down there and make measurements. It was too complex. The whole thing was just, the way this mount was made was just bizarre. It was not your typical thing. It had different angles on everything, and it was real complex. And so what I did was I took some tinfoil and wadded it up, great big bunch of tinfoil, and used it like modeling clay. And I got down there and I took the alternator and held it in my hands, real heavy, and I put it, eyeballed it where the pulleys will line up with the belt. The pulleys have to be perfectly lined up or it'll wear the belt out. And so I held it up there heavy, and I took this aluminum foil and squished it all together and made it like modeling clay like this, and I could shape it to any shape I wanted. And I literally made the shape of the mount that would be the alternator mount. And then the 4 bolt holes, like I said, they weren't like this. They were like 2 here and 2 over here. They were angled, so they weren't straight up and down. There's 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And I poked a hole through the aluminum foil, and I put the bolts in, and I bolted that aluminum foil up onto the engine to make sure it was where it needed to be. And then I brought that aluminum foil, I took it off the engine. So now I got a model of the mount out of aluminum foil. And I took it back to the research farm and welded up this big heavy steel mount that I built for the alternator. And it worked perfect. I couldn't believe it. Usually, you try to do something like that and everything's off. It's not right. But it lined up perfect. The belts lined up perfect. The belt lined up perfect. The pulleys lined up perfect. Everything was good. Super strong. And first time I took that boat out, I did a night run from Santa Cruz up to San Francisco Bay at night. First time I ever took that boat out. And it was great. It ran great. Everything worked. It was a boat that was built by a cabinet maker, and I told myself if I wasn't going to buy a wood boat, and I saw this boat and I fell in love with it. The whole thing was fiberglassed over and on the outside, but it's still a wood boat, and you can still get dry rot in the hull and everything, which it did. But it was called, the design was called a Seabird, and it was a Seabird 35. And people have built that design and sailed it around the world. So it was 35 feet on the deck and 41 feet overall. Had a pulpit and a bowsprit. It was kind of a neat boat, but it was just a little too small for me. And being wood, the problem with a wood boat, you can inspect it for dry rot, and they can get termites too and dry rot, and You can inspect it, go over the entire hull, tear all the floorboards out. Big job going poking with a poker, looking for dry rot, tapping, listening to the sound of the wood. And you know, you can do that, but that doesn't mean 3 months later you got dry rot somewhere. So every time I open up floorboards, I just cringed, wondering what I'm going to find down there. And it's just like, buy a fiberglass boat, don't mess around. Don't even waste your time. Now every time I see a wooden boat, I always wonder where the dry rot is and the termites. Because termites do fly, by the way. So, some of them. Some of the termites in the colony, they fly. Some of them don't, some of them do. And that's how they get on your boat. If you ever see insect wings on the ground somewhere, just wings, it was either a bug that was eaten by a spider or a termite. They jump up in the air when they find a new place to colonize. They'll fly around until they find a place to colonize. Then they'll literally jump in the air and land on their backs and break their wings off. They break their wings off so now they can start boring into the wood, and then they start a new colony. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, termites are important. That's what breaks down the trees and stuff when they die in the forest. So they're an important part of nature, but they're a pest to man. Pretty dirty back around the corner there. I'm going to see if I can get in here and get to it. I don't know if I can reach in there. And then see what else I can get from the inside. Oh, gee. Ain't this fun? Oh, wow. Something just fell. I don't know what it was. It hit my foot and fell. Hopefully it's just one of these cables. Oh, it was my light. My light just went down all the way. My flashlight just went all the way down in the bilge. And it went so far down in there, I'm not going to be able to get it out. And it's turned on. So I'm going to have to crawl back out. I can see it. It's down. It's way down in there. I don't think I'm going to be able to reach it. It's great. And I had a tool for reaching down and grabbing stuff. I'll see if I still have it. It was falling apart on me, and I don't know if I threw it away. I may have. It's way down in the bilge. Oh no, I don't know how many. I can't even see it. It's in a really bad place. It's underneath my my mizzen mast step. So I can't even see it. I can see a little bit of light down in there. I don't know what I'm going to do. I need a mirror. So I got this little telescoping mirror. Telescopes like this. And I can look down in here and see if I can see it. Oh, I see light. Yeah, it's totally just directly under my mast step. So the mast comes down through the boat like this, and then it sits on this big thick wooden step. It's bolted to it, and then the bottom of the boat is right in the very center of the bottom of the boat is like this, V-shaped, and that mast step's right over the top, and it's underneath there, and it's so deep down. I mean, it's like from right here, it's probably at least 5 feet down. And even if I stood on my head down here, I don't think I can get it, which is probably what I'm going to have to try to do. And just see if I can get my arms down in there. Get one of my hands down in there. I don't know. I got it. I can't believe it. I can't believe I got it. Oh man. Luckily, it wasn't all the way to the bottom. It was on the side, and I was just barely able to reach it. But I got it, so we're back in business. Okay, let's not do that again. Okay. All right. Got it. Okay. I like it. Ouch. Ooh. Ow. Ooh. It's a little tight in the crotch down here. Ouch. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so this used to be, I think they used to, originally this was intended to where you put your foul weather gear when you're outside, and this boat doesn't have no roof over it outside, so when you're out sailing, you're out in the weather, so you wear foul weather gear, which is you know, waterproof rain gear. And usually a lot of boats have a locker as soon as you get in the boat, right by the companionway, where you can put your rain gear, your used to call them oil skins in the old days. And so a lot of boat plans, you'll see it'll say oil skins, and it'll be a locker. That's for your rain gear. That's for your foul weather gear. And so I think this is what this was originally intended for, because it goes down in the bilge. So if water drips off of your foul weather gear, and it's all wet, the water goes down in the bilge, and then it'll get pumped out with the bilge pump. So, but I'm going to use it for food storage. And hopefully, eventually, I'm going to get my solar panels up outside and kind of have somewhat of a roof over my cockpit. So when I'm out there sailing, I won't be hopefully soaking wet the whole time in bad weather. Plus, I want to kind of set this boat up, so I'm going to set it up so I can steer from in here. And I'm thinking about putting windows looking forward the way this boat's designed. So it'll be kind of like a pilot house. I'll be able to see out forward. And I'm also going to use cameras outside, so I can, when I'm inside the boat sitting here, I'll be able to see out in every direction. And then I'm going to be able to steer the boat when I get my autopilot in, and I can electronically steer the boat from inside. So in bad weather, I can be inside part of the time anyway, but when it comes to working the sails, I'll have to go out in the weather. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, it's pretty clean over here. This probably has never been cleaned out since the boat was brand new in 1975. Bunch of wires. I hope I don't get shocked, because the electrical panel's right here and it's on. This is all wet. I'm going to dry this off, or I'm going to slip and fall and hurt myself. It's another thing, you got to be really careful on a boat all the time. There's dangers all around you. And you got to get in the habit of doing everything as safely as possible. Because when you go out in the ocean and you're out at sea, the last thing you want to do is get hurt or sick. I could barely fit through there. Yeah, it looks a lot better. Looks a lot better than it did. So at any rate, that took about a little over 2 hours to clean this, just to wipe the inside out. And so yeah, it took me about 2 hours to clean inside here. Just clean all the grime off the walls and the ceiling and the floor. And like I said, nothing's easy on a boat. But yeah, it's clean now. It looks pretty good. So I'm ready to put some shelves in, and hopefully get this done pretty soon, because this project has not been that much fun. If this was helpful or entertaining, please like and subscribe.